After all the drama that we saw the night before, yesterday's night was much quieter than one would have expected, especially after two games, the first two quarterfinals rather, heading into the penalty shootouts. With the two matches we saw yesterday being settled in 90 minutes. Dalima Chhibber alongside me to help us assess what happened, both matches being marred by controversy in some manner or the other. But we here are going to be talking about the first quarter-final that took place yesterday. Dalima, that scoreline surprises you?
It does, honestly, because I thought and I predicted that Portugal would take the win, but like Morocco converted their chance. It was a beautiful goal, beautiful header, and they came out victorious. So there were a lot of us happy for them, and we could see what it meant to them because their family was on the field. They were all dancing together. So again, a beautiful game. The better team came out victorious.
When you look at the numbers though, and for those of us who did watch the match closely, where do you think the match really sort of changed its course? Because Portugal were in it all through the second half. All we saw was attack from Portugal. They were on the offensive all through those 45 minutes in the second half. But Morocco were playing to their strategy and to their plan.
Morocco was a very disciplined side, is all I can say, because you could see how they were working well as a unit. If they were pushing forward, they were together. You could see there were barely any gaps in the middle for Portugal to actually, make those run and actually penetrate the defense. And even the chances that they had, they were denied by the goalkeeper. And we know Morocco's goalkeeper has had some outstanding performances. And again, Morocco has failed to concede a goal so far.
They still haven't.
Exactly. So that speaks volumes of how tactically sound they are and how clinical they are in terms of being organized and maintaining that compactness right in the middle. And
the only one goal, if I'm not wrong, that they conceded was in the group stage was an own goal as well. So they're yet to concede, very strong defensively, and of course they'll have to bring their A game against France because that's not going to be an easy match for them. But moving on to the part that has got our attention. Well, we all thought that the game was being played in the right spirit, but not just Pepe, and I'll just read out the comment that Pepe had after the match got over. He went ahead and said that it's just not done, that an Argentine referee was in charge of the match today after what happened yesterday. He was referring to the fact that yes, Messi was indeed a little irked with the way the match was being officiated the night before, with Messi complaining, and after what I saw today, then we can just go ahead and give the title to Argentina now. Unsavory comments, you would say?
Definitely, because in a game like football, the blame always goes to the referee in the heat of the moment. But I feel with video assistant referees coming in, the space for human error has been reduced by a really big margin. So I feel just putting it all out on the referee isn't it isn't fair, because they are, as players, we tend to make mistakes on the field, and referees are human as well, and we know that there's a group sitting right behind the screens as well. So it's easy to blame the referee when things don't go out your way, and as players, and even when we did not participate in professional sport, all of us have done that at some point, at some level. So I feel coming out and giving such rough comment towards the refereeing side, it doesn't really look professional, especially coming from a very experienced player like Pepe, because we know that there's a reason why video assistant referees have been brought in, why they have been working, why there's so much work being put in to reduce that human error that has existed for so long in the game.
But it wasn't just him, actually. It was Bruno Fernandes as well, who was very miffed with the way the match was being officiated. He was very, very unhappy, and he echoed the same sentiment. He also in many ways said he wasn't okay with the fact that an Argentine was refereeing. Do you see any merit over there with the two senior Portugal players saying that they weren't happy with the fact that an Argentine was officiating the game? Bruno Fernandes also saying that.
I mean, honestly, it could come from a personal side as well, from personal experience, or from a personal idea of they know that Argentina has progressed as opposed to Portugal being walking away from the tournament. So I feel it could come from a personal side as well. We never know what goes on between players or on the field. But even Bruno Fernandes complained. We could see Bruno's frustration out on the field. We know he was being fouled a lot, but the fouls that were actually fouls were being called out, and the rest of them we could see as well, because they show a recap, they show repeat, and a lot of them were not actually fouls. It was a tackle on the ball, and I mean, it's football again, right? It's a physical game, so like those physical contacts, those little bits of foul are going to be there because it's a part of the game. But again, like these comments, we never really can understand which side or where they're coming from, because it's just that a big chunk of the world, a big population, we know is behind Argentina because they really want them to win, as opposed to Portugal. So that could as well play, and like, you know, reflectively play part of it.
You in many ways stole my words, because that's what I wanted to understand. Is this just the second half of this comment? Would you say that this also stems from the fact that yes, Argentina have now progressed? Messi stands a chance. He's just 2 wins away. The world's backing him in many ways. That's not to say that Ronaldo doesn't have his following and the backing, but there is a Messi sentiment globally at the moment. So
for sure. And we know football for a really long time has been Messi versus Ronaldo. And we know it is, like, you know, because we know we have been fortunate to see 2 of the greatest players in the same, like, you know, in the same era, in the same time, and they have achieved a lot of things individually and with different teams. But like, you know, there could be many reasons, because going in, everybody was looking at a Portugal-Argentina final, and they wanted to see that. So, you know, there could be various reasons where this comment could be coming from, and like definitely one of them would be Argentina progressing and Portugal just being out of the game now.
Absolutely. He was gutted, he was crestfallen as well, so many other players, but perhaps the most upset player with that result was that man on your screens, Cristiano Ronaldo. When you look at these images, all of them from yesterday night, as a neutral, let's say, regardless, I'm not going to tell everyone who you prefer between Messi and Ronaldo, but as a neutral, when you look at these images, what sort of impression does that have on you?
I mean, as a player myself, it leaves me heartbroken, because we know, and as a player especially, I understand it as well, like what it takes and what goes on to be at a level and, like, you know, play professional football, and wanting to, like, you know, achieve more, wanting more, performing well. And it's a very tough road. And we know Cristiano Ronaldo has been facing a rough patch. We know he didn't start last 2 games, and we know he had that one thing that he's missing in his trophy cabinet is perhaps the World Cup trophy, and how much he wanted that before he could retire from international football, or perhaps his last FIFA World Cup. So we know, like, you know, it was a devastating moment, not only for him, but like a lot of football fans. I'm not going to say just Ronaldo fans, but football fans across the world, because he's given so much to the football fans, to the industry, and he's you know, he leads by an example of, if you actually work hard, where can you, like, you know, where can you land and what you can achieve. And he's made so many records. There's so many records on his names, and, like, you know,
speaking of records, he's the only player to have ever scored in 5 different World Cups. Wasn't the ideal World Cup for him, but that record in many ways, I think in present day and age, you only see an Mbappe sort of breaking that record, but otherwise Cristiano Ronaldo's legacy is going to be untouched.
Exactly, definitely. And I feel like, you know, and it's going to remain. He has written his name in the books, in the football books, for years and years to come, and I think that is what we're going to be reflecting on, no matter what the result is. People are going to remember the memories. People are going to forget what the result was when Portugal got knocked out, but people are going to remember Ronaldo as one of the best footballers in the world.
Absolutely, that's beautifully been summed there. Cristiano Ronaldo's legacy doesn't end with Portugal exiting the World Cup in unlikely manner, though. Morocco going through inside 90 minutes, no drama, as many would have thought, but sticking to the guns, Morocco over there, and they're going to be up against France. But there was another match that took place later at night, and we're going to be talking about that as well, but very shortly. For now, that's all that we have. Thank you so much. Dalima will be joining us for the analysis of the second quarterfinal between England and France that took place last night. We'll be back in about 10-15 minutes from now. If you haven't already done so, do tap the bell icon so that you know every time we go live. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Harshit Ahuja, Dalima Chhibber alongside me. See you soon.